Wow. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ms. Bliss, and welcome to Journey to Bliss. Tonight, we're going to have a very interesting discussion about spells. I'm going to give you spells. Oh, let me finish it. I'm going to give you a list of spells that were thrown directly at me by a couple that lives in Philadelphia from the conscious community. If you check the previous videos, you will have information as to who the couple is, more or less who they gathered or work with in these sort of demonic workings that they were doing. I also explained, like I did before, that I don't know any of these people, that I met this one guy in a chat who was selling a product, and then there you have it. So, this is going to be very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, as I want you to pay very careful attention. I'm going to mention this before I even start the conversation. I want anyone out there, and I don't care if you're in the Christian community, I don't care if you're in the Muslim community, I don't care if you're atheist and you don't believe in none of this spiritual shit. I don't care if you're in a conscious community. I don't care. I want every single person that is listening to this live to find someone who is a divination reader. I repeat, find someone who is a divination reader and ask that person the most important question. Ask them, is Miss Bliss telling the truth? And from that question, you can ask the rest of the questions, because it's extremely important for everyone to be aware as to what is going on. Because when people are trying to throw spells at you to unalive you, one day that's going to be you or your husband or your wife or your mother or your father or your children or your cousin or your best friend. One day, trust and believe and mark my words, it will be you. And one day you're going to be around one of these people and you're not going to know what's going on, because in this experience around these people, what I realize is that a lot of people had some stuff on them and they didn't even know. And so my teachers seem to think that I'm fortunate. I'm like, I don't want to be seeing this, really. I want to just live my beautiful, wonderful life, because my life is beautiful and wonderful. So I don't want to see this stuff. But I'm forced to see it, obviously, because it's some type of calling, right? So I accept that. But what I realize is that other people had them on, demons on them, spells thrown at them, and their lives was getting torn up and they didn't even know. They had no idea. So, first question, if you are a divination reader, or if you know someone who's a divination reader, and if you just want to throw some change at one of them, be like, yo, is Miss Bliss telling the truth? Is this true? Are these people from the conscious community doing this? And then you ask yourself, are they throwing it at her? And then you ask the next question, why? Has Miss Bliss done anything to these people? Because I'm telling you right now, these people are going to deny it. They're gonna throw every type of twisted lie that they possibly can, because they don't want anyone to know what they're doing. And I was not supposed to know, because most people don't fucking know. So I'm pulling their coattail. I'm blasting it out there because nobody knows about it and nobody's speaking about it. And nobody's calling any fucking names. That's for goddamn sure. Because if anybody was, they wouldn't be so bold as to try to unalive me, take my life. That's a very bold move. All right. So, good evening, everyone. Pretty kitty cat. Good evening, Miss Bliss. Sending you love. Thank you so much. I accept that love. Peace and positivity, Miss Bliss. Always, always peace and positivity. Oh my God, that's a lot of spells. You know, it's probably more than 40 spells. I at some point I lost count, but I can give you the list that I kept track of over the past 2 years. So, and yeah, these people are literally crazy. There is a mental illness, obviously, right? Hey, Miss Bliss, I don't know anything about witchcraft, but I do know that this is an injustice. You know what? So funny. I didn't know anything about witchcraft like this either because my genre, my forte, my what I felt at the time, my calling was psychedelics and tantra. I was into psychedelics and tantra. I was not into witchcraft, but I had to learn. And that's another question. Be like, shit, this Bliss had to protect herself, right? Are you going to sit there and let people bully you? Are you going to sit there and tell your child if they're being bullied to just not do anything? Are you going to go up to the school and protect your child and defend your child? Are you going to speak up for your child? And are you going to teach your child to fight for themselves? What are you going to do? You're going to tell your child, defend yourself, right? Because this is not where I was headed, like I said. But it is what it is, right? You got to take the good with the bad, right? And the ugly. How are you, Miss Bliss? They're high vibration, my dear. These people are not good for society. They're actually a menace to society. They're a menace to society. Looking forward to hearing this, Miss Bliss, and then you protection and love. You know what? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I accept that. And I'm taking it, sweetheart. Yes. Keep going, Miss Bliss, and don't go around these people anymore. Stay around good people because good people do exist. And your name is Good People Exist. I love that. Hey, Lisa, what's up? Good evening, Miss Bliss, and the chat. All right, guys. Well, now, if it's one thing I want to say is that I realize what type of people that I'm dealing with. I realize that these people, they have a problem. I am fully aware that they are demonic people full of all sorts of negative, parasitic beings that are feeding on them and feeding on anyone that is around them. And they're even feeding off each other. But because there's nothing else to feed off of, they have to try to feed off other people that are nearby them. People who are, maybe happy, people who are joyful, people who are positive. They like to feed off of these people because they want to see these people sad. They want to see these people unhappy because they are jealous of these people. They're angry at themselves. Maybe they're angry from childhood trauma. Just, they're very miserable people. And don't get it twisted. These people can be in a church or they could be your family members also. It just so happens that the people who are attacking me are from the conscious community. But these type of people can be in Africa, they can be in the Caribbean, they can be in Puerto Rico, they could be anywhere. But my situation comes from these group of people. So, but why would these demons be able to feed off of these people and be attached to them? It's because these people have a lot of things that attracts negative entities to them. And so some of those things that attract negative entities are fear. Yeah, big old fear. Fear of failure, fear of loss, anxiety, fear of shame, addiction, violence, having sort of a lack mindset, the mentality like it's not enough, greed, sloth. One of the things I spoke about this before, doing sex magic the wrong way, self-hatred. And self-hatred is when actually part of when you you don't love yourself, you don't take care of yourself, You don't nurture yourself. But then in that aspect, you don't love anyone who looks like you. So lust without love. So there is something where you can have lust and love together, and it's a beautiful experience. But these people practice lust without love. And so that allows the demonic beings to be attached to them. Victimhood, always playing the victim, and never really sort of looking at the situation like, okay, this is what happened. And I was the victim, but I'm not going to be the victim anymore. I'm going to move forward in a different light. Having sort of a hyper sexual dynamic with them. So these types of emotions and thought patterns keep them at a low frequency. The more trauma cycles they'll go through, the more demons can be attached to them, the stronger the demons can feed off of them. This makes it easier for the demons to be attached to them, and thus the people are demonic. So here's the deal. Here's why none of this spell work has ever worked on me. And it's complicated, and it's a number of things, but I'm just going to give you a couple of basic things of why they were never able to really attach anything to me or affect me in any way. So what actually starves these demons? Love. Yes, love and being in presence, being present, empathy, having empathy, forgiveness, being able to actually forgive, independence, sovereignty. All of these things starve the demons. They cannot attach to you when you're in this light and in this energy. Of course, if you are in bliss, in joy, in happiness, if you are authentic and just being genuine and honest, which a lot of Black people are not honest. A lot of Black people are not authentic or genuine. When you're in orgasmic energy, these demons cannot, honey, I tell you, they cannot bother you. You know, they cannot be attached to you. They cannot harm you. They cannot do anything to you. Because if I stand here and I'm well and fine and dandy, and when I read this list, y'all gonna be like, what in all of holy Jesus Christ is going on over here? And I've seen other people, and you know, they attack those people because they know what those people's demons are. They know what their fears are. And they didn't know that about me because I make sure I stay in a high vibration. I stay positive. So the other thing is that when someone's throwing spell work at you, it's a number of things that's going on. Spell work is not just people sitting around with their candles and, you know, their herbs and, you know, it's a lot more complicated than that, where these are actually rituals and ceremonies and people focusing on you, people throwing symbols at you, all sorts of things. But when that doesn't work, right, they have to go to the next level. And the next level is attacking your friends or your family. Now, everybody ain't perfect. I'm not perfect. I don't know anybody who's perfect. If you're perfect, you damn near Buddha or Jesus as far as I'm concerned. And I ain't met no Buddha or Jesus yet. I met some niggas who've been pretty close, but I ain't met no actual Buddha or Jesus yet. So your friend could have an anger problem, right? So if your friend has an anger problem, then they're going to attack your friend. Now, I know this doesn't sound good because it's like they're trying to get to you, but they want your friend to be angry at you, or they want your friend to be mean at you. And if your friend already has a reputation of being sort of mean or angry or hostile or violent, they want to activate that and sort of direct it towards you. You, on the other hand, because they can't get to you, you're not really going to know what's going on. You're going to be like, yo, why is this person acting this way? What is going on with you? What? And the friend, because like I said, many people don't know when people are doing spell work on them. The friend is not going to know either. You know, it's just going to be chaos and mayhem, and nobody's really going to know what's going on. And so if you're not, I really don't want to use the word talented enough, but for lack of a better description, if you're not talented enough to figure it out or to see it, if you're not a seer, or if you're not doing divination work, or you have no way of knowing why this is going on in your relationship. Maybe you have a lover and all of a sudden you and the lover are quarreling, not getting along and fighting, and you don't know exactly what's going on. If you don't have the skills or access to someone who could assist you as to what is really going on, then you're going to break up. You're going to go through divorce, or you're not going to be friends anymore. You're going to argue. You're going to fight. And it's going to be all of this chaos going on, but you're not truly going to know what really happened. And so it's not fair, but the idea is to isolate you. So they don't want you to have friends. They don't want you to be supported. They don't want you to have family. They want to keep you isolated because in their mind, with the spell work, they figure if you're isolated, then you're lonely, you're going to get depressed, you're going to get sad, you're going to be angry, you're going to be bitter. And these, remember, this is part of the emotions that you don't want to have. They want you to have fear. They want you to have shame. They want you to be violent. They want you to have a lack mindset. They want you to feel like the victim. They want you to hate the people who left you. They want you to feel this way because remember, these are the emotions and the thought processes where it's easier to attach a demon on you. So you have to be sharper than the people who are throwing this spell work at you. You got to be on your A game. And so you have to also educate your friends and your families because you never know who's doing what around you. And it's just simply not right, and it is unfair. But I'm just saying this so you know that they couldn't get to me because of I'm not trying to entertain that shit. I don't need to entertain it. Straight madness. Yeah. We're talking about people who they have a mental illness and they don't want anybody to know, but I'm putting them on blast. I'm definitely putting them on blast. So after that, so they throw the spells at you. It's not working. So now they're attacking your friends. They're attacking your family. They may be attacking whoever's near you, right? And maybe that's not working. What's the next thing? So the next thing is they want to physically get to you. If they're in their mind, if they can get to you. Now remember, you're not supposed to know that you're doing this, right? But I knew, I saw them in the spirit realm. I saw them, not physically, but they were dropping trinkets and stuff at my house. I did install cameras, so technically in 3D, I saw them also, and they did send me photos. So technically, I figured all of that out. But nonetheless, what if you didn't have all of that and you didn't know? So now the next thing is they got to get next to you. They want to touch you, or they want to touch your friend, or they want to touch your family member. Why is that? Because now they want to put something on you. Yes, because if you're high vibrational, right? These niggas can't get to you. So now they need to physically get to you so they can put something on you. And I knew this the whole time. I knew this. I knew exactly what they were up to. And I'm just watching them. I'm like, really? We gonna go that far? And so they can't get to you. They're gonna get to your friends. And so, or they're gonna get to your family. And this is a shame. This is a shame because you have to be really, 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 really careful. And so let's say none of that is working, right? So now they have to go to the next stage. They can't get to you. They can't get to your friends. Your friends may all be high vibrational. Yes, friends, shaking my head. Exactly. Let's say your friends are all high vibrational. They can't get to your friends. What's the next step? What is the next thing that they're going to do? They're going to start gossiping about you. They're going to start slandering your name because now they can't get to your friends. They can't get to your family. They can't get to you. What's the next thing? Slander your name, slander your reputation, gossip about you, talk about you, drag you through the mud, create lies about you. Some of them will go to the extent of printing fake photos and putting, demonic photos or maybe sexual photos out there that are documented and, doctored up and created through, whatever they're using to make it look like you're doing something that's bad to destroy your reputation. Now, how did this part of the spells work? This is designed to attack you mentally, to stress you out, to put you in anxiety, into worry, into fear. But the thing is that Miss Bliss don't give a fuck what niggas is thinking about her? And so they couldn't get me like that, because I'm like, nigga, if you doctoring up my picture to say I'm out here a sex worker, make sure you do it good, boo-boo, because you ain't doing nothing but blowing me up in my tantra business. And I couldn't say anything. I had to just watch. I had to let them keep doing it, because they were actually bringing people to my YouTube channel. And I think they purposely did it because they wanted these people to come onto the channel to harass me, to intimidate me, to threaten me, to, put fear in me. But I'm just like, child, please get your butt out of here. Because what they didn't know was they were giving me more subscribers, number one. Number two, the more comments you make, the more popular the video becomes. The more you watch it, the more it gets, traction. So I'm good with it, because you ain't doing nothing but making me a star. And you didn't even want to make me a star. But all of this is the way that it's working. It's all backfiring on them. None of this was able to work. So they couldn't get me that way. They couldn't, as far as friends, whatever, I can't say what my friends are in terms of like high vibration, because everybody's going through their own journey in life. And like I said, no one's perfect. I don't hold any grudges. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. It is what it is. And I look at every single relationship, every single friendship as a lesson, as a life lesson. I was around these people for a reason. I was around that person for a lesson. I was around this group of people for, whatever it is. I take it as me learning something. And so that's the way I look at it. So I'm not walking away from anything, any type of anger or bitterness or anxiety or fear. So they couldn't get me that way. So when people are attacking you with spells, it's also where they want to try to attack you psychologically, mentally, with spiritual warfare, and maybe even physically, if they can possibly get to you, to even to that point where they try to, oh, now we got to intimidate her. We got to drive by her house. We got to, try to go to wherever event. But that didn't bother me either, because what they didn't know was that I had people who was rocking with me. So pull up. Because you see, you have to be prepared for people like this, who think that they are street niggas, hood rats, because that's exactly what they are. Like, you're not talking about people who grew up in Tibet, meditating from when they came out the mother's womb, and the mother ate all the right food, and the mother wasn't on drugs, and the mother was living. You're talking about people whose parents had demons, and now they're in their life, they now have demons, and trust and believe their children also have demons. So it's a lot more complicated than you could ever even imagine. So now we want to go into these people. Now, they were doing all of the spell work, and they were getting messages to not do it, especially certain spells that they were doing, especially the continuation of doing the spells, because it was to the point where this was divination abuse. And there's mental abuse, there's physical abuse, there's psychological abuse, there's financial abuse. There's something called divination abuse, and that's what they were doing. They were participating in something called divination abuse towards me. Now, they also went to some practitioners to throw spells at me. And there were some practitioners who was like, no, I'm not going to do this. Like, this is an injustice, is not right. So I'm not going to do this. But they kept lurking around, going around looking for practitioners who were available to be paid to throw all sorts of things at me, because they were for hire. So their children now and their families are in jeopardy. These people are fighting and arguing amongst each other within their own group. People are losing their place of residence. People having sex addictions. Obviously, I did tell you that the couple, supposedly, like, she's a prostitute. The message she sent to me literally says she's a prostitute. So you can also, when you do your divination reading, ask yourself, did this woman send Miss Bliss photos of herself? And did the photos say that she was a prostitute, a married prostitute? Because I want you guys to know the truth, because I want you guys to be safe. Okay. So they have a sex addiction. They have a problem with, doing sex the wrong way. I mean, diseases, babies, hotel sex, car sex, whatever you want to name it, they're doing it. And, it's really bad for them right now. They are going through a lot. It's to the point where some of them might have considered leaving the country or leaving the city or the state where they live at, or moving, just having to move out of their place of residence because things are really, really bad. They're getting sick. Sicknesses occur. They're having car accidents, physical accidents. There's definitely a tremendous amount of money being lost. Now, the money thing, because they were doing money spells, all of these things backfired. So when you talk about financial loss, these people are experiencing a tremendous, tremendous amount of financial loss. Jobs are being lost. Businesses are failing. Divorce, relationships, separations, struggles, breakups, venereal diseases, situations where some people need medicine and they can't get to their medicine, extensive use of drugs, all different types of addictions, alcoholic addiction, sex addiction, drug addictions, all different types of addictions that they're going through. And addictions are part of the source that attracts demons, because these people are demonic. Of course, selling their bodies, etc. They literally have cursed their lineage. They've cursed their bloodline, their children. People are cheating on each other. The people are lying to each other. These people are arguing. The family and friends are turning against them. They're turning against each other, backstabbing each other, telling on each other, snitching on each other. Speaking of snitching, my last video was based off of information that someone called me about this woman. So it was good to know that not everybody thought that what they were doing was a good thing. And then there was information that came through that this woman was told. They told her, they was like, "You're jealous of Miss Bliss." And she denies it, because they're like, "Miss Bliss never heard of you. She never mentioned you, but you've been talking about her for 2 years. Clearly something's wrong, but she is delusional. She has a mental illness. So she's not willing to accept the truth. So she's going to continue to carry the lie." This is why I'm saying, do your own divination readings and get your own answers. Now, what else? They are pointing the finger, blaming each other. Things like, you did it too, or you started it, you took it to the next level. Of course, they were gossiping and slandering my name. Things like, who brought me to them. And of course, we all know it was the guy who considers himself to be a player from Philadelphia, because none of these people knew who I were. And I still don't know who they are. I'm talking about like ever meeting them in person and knowing them as a human being. Because if anyone is willing to sacrifice my humanity, I'm not interested in knowing them, because that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's going on. And so, it's discussions over who actually chose the spells, who was going to the house to harass me, who was dropping off the witchcraft trinkets at my house, who was stalking me. They were encouraging people to stalk me on, on my channel. And like I said, none of these things bothered me, because I already knew how YouTube would respond. YouTube is like, yeah, you're giving her the algorithms that she needs. So I let it ride. I didn't have a problem with it. Things like trying to steal things from me, trying to take things from me. So this is the type of people, and this is what they were doing. And I never met them. So the other thing is that some of the emotions that allow these demonic beings to be attached to you are also envy, jealousy, malice. They have these type of energies attached to them. So this is why they remain in low vibrational, and why they're not successful. They're actually not successful in anything that they're doing in life. Not only are they not successful in any of their magic or their spell work, they're not successful in anything because of the terrible things that they have been doing, because it's all just backfiring on them. And so this young lady, this woman, she doesn't believe in anything. She feels like everything that she's done or doing is justifiable, that everything that she's doing is okay, even though it's not justifiable. And people have told her, what you're doing is not right. It's you're out of line. But in her mind, she's like, this is perfectly fine. I'm okay. And so now she's suffering. The more she does something bad, the more she suffers. And so she's not smart enough to connect the dots. She's really not intelligent enough to figure out what's really going on in her life and why she's having all these negative experiences, because she has not connected the dots. She has not put two and two together because she doesn't have the mental stability to be able to do that. And I realize this. I realize what I'm dealing with here. Don't worry, I got this, And I also realize what I'm dealing with when it comes to the man that she's with, because he's clearly a stalker. He has a reputation of being a stalker. The people in the conscious community know that this guy is a stalker. So the mental illness stretches much further than we can even imagine. When you have someone who is a stalker and you allow them around other women in the conscious community, something's wrong with the whole community. If you have someone who is doing spell work to try to cause someone to leave this earth, something's wrong in that community. And at that point, what do you do about it? Because one day it's going to be you, and you think that you're all safe, but you never know, And so when they gathered with these people, they thought that they were protected. They thought they were highly protected. They were calling themselves priests, witches and warlocks. They thought they were very powerful. They thought they were holding some type of special information, but now they're all in trouble. They're in jeopardy. Generational curses, as I mentioned before, spells being reversed, people wanting to actual forgiveness, people actually wanting to confess, people, snitching. Like I said, I got the phone call not too long ago, but I'm gonna tell everything. And because I'm speaking, because I need to, number one, I don't want to hold this anymore. I want to release this, and it's time for them to face the music and reap what they sow. So of course there's evidence, because they were sloppy, because they don't know what they're doing, photos, videos, and they were sent by her. And I'm going to share those in the next video, which will be my last video. It will be the last time I talk about this, because I'm not going to give this any more energy, because it's over. It's over. None of this is happening anymore. None of this is affecting me. It never affected me. I just wanted to speak about it because I wanted to get the information out there so that other people could be careful, so that other people would be aware as to what these people are doing and what they're capable of. Because one day they're going to run into someone where they feel like they want to take something from that person. And so what is that person going to do? You're not going to know that they're doing it. Trust me, you're not going to know. So that's why I wanted to get this information out. So they were talking to each other at times when they were arguing about this, and when they were caught, and when I called them on it, because they don't want me to show their photos. They don't want me to mention their names. They don't want me to provide any information, because they want to be able to keep doing it. But I'm going to show you guys on the next video, and that's going to be the last one. But this basically is my release. I'm done. So you need to protect yourselves. You need to do a reading and find out what actually is going on within your community. And so, things like they were saying, like they went to an occult group, on a group where they can take people's lives, that they could unalive people. They were trying to pull in powerful masters to do these things. Nothing worked. And eventually I was looking better and better. And because they know I'm doing well, because they were waiting for me to show photos and videos of myself. And I knew this. I was fully aware of what was going on. And every time I showed a photo or a video of myself, they were like, damn, Nothing's working. She looks better than ever. She looks good. What are we doing? Let me throw something else. So this is how we get to 40 different spells. And when I say this, I mean like these niggas was changing spells like I changed underwear. These people were throwing spells at me like it was a water balloon fight. And so I had to learn how to defend myself, because who else is going to do it? Who else is going to protect me other than the guys around the way? And the guys around the way are gangsters. They're not people who are throwing spells at people, you know? And then I had teachers also, you know, who were working with me and also protecting me. And that's all fine and dandy, but I wanted to learn how to protect myself. And so it's very important for you to know these type of things so that you won't get hurt. So now, who's going to pay the piper, right? One of them or all of them. The sacrifices are going to be them or their children or their money or anything else that these demons can get to feed off of, because they were not able to sacrifice anything or anyone else. So it's going to be them who's going to suffer. So people are finding that attacking me, harassing me, trying to put fear in me, I mean, copying whatever I do, like none of these things affect me. None of these things bother me. Gossiping about me, slandering my name, none of this affected me, because I'm just becoming more and more popular, and they are simply just becoming more and more obsessed. So I'm not even entertained by this anymore. They're the ones now that are in trouble, going to court, you know, having all these issues that are popping up, and so they have to deal with it. So enough is enough, and so it is what it is. So now, let's see. What are the list of spells? Drum roll, please. Da 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 da. Yeah, it's to the point where it's like, they're like, who is she? What is she? She's not human. Yeah, they don't even think I'm human, because nothing works. Okay, here we go. Let's start with the list. They were doing money spells. Money spells to steal my money. Money spells to block my money or block my finances, or to cause me to make stupid decisions in regards to money. They were doing love spells. The love spells to block any lovers coming to me. Love spells so that I wouldn't love myself. Love spells so that I wouldn't know how to recognize love. Love spells so that no one would love me. Love spells so that men would not love me. Just whatever you can think about. Love spells to cause me to love the guy in Philadelphia, which is just crazy. So love spells to cause me to love the wrong guy. Crazy. Love spells on my family. They were definitely doing moon magic. They would do full moon magic. They would do new moon magic. Just whatever type of magic you can think of in connection to the moon. They were doing chakra spells. They were doing spells to isolate me, to make me feel alone, to make me be alone, to make me not have friends or not have family, to make me not have support. They were doing spells to cause damage or harm to any of my relationships or any of my friendships. So spells to cause arguments, spells to cause violence, spells to cause misunderstandings or miscommunications, spells to cause confusion between me and other people. And like I said, remember what I said, if they can't get to me, they will go to someone who they see that I may be close to, or someone who they feel that, you know, it's easy to get to that person and touch that person, and then drop their spells on that person. Spells to make me ugly, spells to make me fat or skinny. They were doing bug spells with spiders and so forth. Demon spells where they would call on demons to send demons at me. Spells to cause a lack of peace, a lack of prosperity, a lack of wealth, a lack of calmness. Freezer spells. They were doing hate spells, envy spells, spells to make me sad, spells to destiny swap spells, sacrifice spells, sex spells, group sex spells, rituals where they would, I mean, these people are crazy, but where they would be playing like maybe my videos or something like that. They were doing jealousy spells, choose the wrong lover spells, unalive spells. I mentioned the unalive spells a lot of times. Leave this earth spells, no longer alive spell, mind control spells, mind manipulation spells, controlling your thought spells, spells every day, spells every week, spells every month, same spells over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. What spells? I said confusion spells, right? Attachment spells, spells where they can attach something to me, or spells where I would be attached to the Philadelphia guy so that I could not leave him, or I wanted to be binded to him. I wanted to be connected to him. Spells to get me to be attracted to him. Spells to keep me calm so that when he finally did approach me, I would be like, oh yes, everything is fine. How are you? So that he can then physically get to me to boom, drop something on me. What else? Spreading rumors, gossip, slander. Those are also a form of spells also. They were using voodoo dolls, spells to destroy my reputation, binding magic. They were doing black magic. If anyone knows anything about black magic is it's a very dangerous type of magic to be using. And the person doing the black magic can really harm themselves. They can really, really, really hurt themselves while they're trying to hurt the other person. So you can imagine, since I'm doing fine and dandy, you can imagine what they're going through. Obsession spells to make me obsessed with the Philadelphia guy. Now, see, you would have to say, if she's so jealous, why are spells being done to bring me together with the Philadelphia guy? Here's the thought process of this couple, these people involved. The thought process is that she was willing to be the second wife as long as she could have him. So she didn't really care. But as soon as she thought that he would leave her to come to me, then she wasn't willing to give him up, because she feels like she's competing against me because he doesn't do anything but talk about me. Whether he's talking good or bad, the point is, why are you always talking about this woman? If you don't like her, why do you want to get next to her? Why do you want to do all these spells on her? When you guys do your divination readings, or when you find a reader, you can ask that question too. They were doing spells to turn people against me. Intuition spells to block people's intuition, spells to block my friend's third eye, or their crown chakra, or my third eye, or my crown chakra. Even to the point where they thought they could maybe get somebody to kidnap me. I mean, like, really demonic people. Bullying and intimidation tactics, threatening. This is all part of spell work, because remember, they have to get you into that low vibration. But if you're educated, or if you have teachers around you that are teaching you, then none of this is going to work. Cyber bullying, gang stalking. They even try to get affiliated with a cult that actually kills, KILL people. They get rid of people. Like, the cult supposedly does these type of things. None of that worked, of course. Black magic, evil spells, bad health spells to make me sick, spells to make my body in pain, spells to give me headaches, spells to, anything that's going to make me feel some type of physical ailment, or some type of physical suffering. And thus they are now going through that themselves, especially the girl. Trying to get access to my my ancestry, or my Akashic records. Of course, they were mocking me while she copies everything. Like, if I talk about anything, she'll go wherever she goes on her lives and she'll talk about whatever I'm talking about. But I never considered that to be a big deal to me. If she copied me, I mean, it's supposed to be like a form of her admiring me, when I know it's something else, but it's not a big deal to me at all, to be honest with you. Delusions and illusion spells, Here's a big one. Suicide spells. Yeah, spells to cause me to want to take my own life. Can you imagine that? Meanwhile, that's what she does. That's what her and her daughter want to do to themselves. They are people who don't want to be on this earth anymore. So sending that to me. Binding love spells. So, y'all, that is the list. There's more, but that's the ones that I wrote down. So yet I'm still standing here, and I'm strong. I'm looking good. Men are all around me, honey. Let me tell you, I don't have a problem finding love. So that never worked. I have a nice variety of good quality friends that are around me, that support me, that love me. Same thing with my family. I'm very successful. I have the support that I need. And if I get more, then that's fine. But I'm happy. I'm good. Of course, I maintain with my authenticity. Shout out to Diana Farr, who that was the first thing that she mentioned, was that Bliss is authentic. She's honest and she's real, and she's going to give it to you like it is. And that's exactly what I do. And that's exactly what I will continue to do. As you guys are fully aware, you have an idea now of when it comes to my morals and my values, my ethics, and how I am as a person. So basically, I'm a real one. So their attacks were never, ever going to work on me. Besides that, I'm a very highly protected person in the spirit realm. I did learn that. And so it was never going to work. So all it did now was just, it made them obsessed with me, and it caused damage to their family and friends. And we're talking, there's a lot of collateral damage here. A lot of innocent people are being hurt and will continue to be hurt. They were unaware of the true consequences, and they lack real knowledge of what they were truly participating in. Some people were, of course, laughing because they take this as a joke, but they're not joking now. Trust me, guys. I want you guys to pay attention to this couple. They're going to act like everything is fine and dandy, but it's not. They are fighting and arguing, and he don't want to be with her, but he's going to be with her because he ain't got no choice. He may be with other women because he's always been with other women. He's never been, sort of the person to be dedicated and committed to one woman. That's just not his lifestyle. So he's always going to get other women pregnant. He's always going to be with other women. And one day he's going to find a woman, and he ain't going to want to be with her no more. And that's when she's going to go through what she's doing right now. All hell is going to break loose on her. And it is what it is. But they pulled me into this triangle only because he became obsessed with me. He was always talking about me because he couldn't have me, because he couldn't deal with rejection, because he's immature and he's childish. So he's walking around in the community because some people know who they are. And people are, they joking with him. They're making fun of him because they're like, you got Miss Bliss, you idiot. You let her go. She's a good one. You fumbled the bag. And what he does is he's laughing it off, because deep down inside, he's angry. He's pissed. He's mad because he fumbled the bag with me. So it is what it is. So they're not going to get away with anything. They didn't get away with anything. And they're losing everything. So it's really sad. Everything from losing sleep, losing money, losing relationships, losing opportunities. And it's interesting because some of them have the audacity, in particular this woman, she has the audacity to be mean, mad, or angry at me. You would think she would learn her lesson, but no. She's the type of person where the only thing she learns is a really hard lesson. Like, I mean, really, really hard lesson, which, mark my words, guys, you watch and see. You watch and see what's coming, because these people, they lack empathy. And remember, empathy is a high vibration that the demons, they can't attach to you if you have true empathy. You have sympathy. They don't have sympathy. They don't have love. So they lack love. And love is another high vibration where these demons cannot be attached to you. So some of these people think that they're going to be able to lie, but the community is already talking about them. There's a lot of gossip spreading around. There's a lot of talk, a lot of things going on, but they hiding. But do your readings, guys. Do your divination readings and ask these questions. Is Miss Bliss telling the truth about this couple from Philadelphia? Ask the other question. Are they in a conscious community? That's a very good question that you need to ask. And then also ask, to my Christian people who are watching, because I got people from, Christianity, Muslim people watching too. Look, it is what it is. I'm not the type of person where I'm judging you based off your religion, because the bottom line is, when you're out here in this society and you're dealing with people who are coming against you, they're not judging you based off your religion. They're not judging you based off your weight, your height, your size, the way you dress. They're judging you because you are all Black people, or for lack of a better word, you're Black. So when you walk into these stores, you try to get these loans, you try to do your businesses, you try to have success, they're judging you because you're Black. So these people, what they're doing is they're causing a division amongst Black people. They're causing chaos amongst Black people. So now who's suffering because they're doing this? The people who are suffering because they're doing this are the people who are around them. The people in that community are suffering because of what these people are doing. So they can run, but they can't hide. So they can do all the spell work that they want, but some of the other negative energies that they have are greed. They're very greedy. And when you're greedy like that, you have a lack mindset. You feel like there's not enough. And so the demon's attached to you because of all of these things. And these people are very childish, very immature. They lack loyalty. They lack self-discipline. They lack confidence. They lack self-control. And they're stuck. They're stuck in this low vibration. And I realize that they are the ones who are depressed. They are the ones who are sad and worried and fearful and full of anxiety. And so they don't know how to do anything when they're around someone like me. They're not used to being around someone like me. And I had to realize that. And so my teachers always tell me this. People are not used to people like you. They don't know what to do. So now, with that said, I'm getting ready to end this live. So I want to say, you guys have a beautiful night, and protect yourself. Protect yourself. Go and do a divination reading, and find someone who you trust, who will do it for you. And if you have a friend who can do it for you, then just have them do it, because it's something you need to know. You need to take care of yourself. Okay, you need to protect yourself. Thank you, Miss Bliss. Yes, you're welcome. We appreciate you. Yes, and I appreciate you too. And I am getting ready to get off this live, but before I get off this live, I am gonna send you guys a wonderful, wonderful video at the end of this live, so you can see what I've been up to, and that life is beautiful on this end, and I'm doing that by having a ball. And so after this video, I got one more, and that is the last video where we'll be discussing these people in Philadelphia in the conscious community with their witchcraft and their voodoo and their hoodoo and their incantations and their rituals and their obia and their santeria. This is going to be one more video, and that will be it. It will be over, dunzo for the gunzo finito. So with that said, guys, I bid you farewell and thank you for watching. Here you go.